सबको namaste. मैं Jessica हूँ. I want to chat a little bit today about the 5 weirdest questions that I have been asked as a foreigner living in India. I always have to start with a disclaimer that anytime I talk about things in India, it comes from a place of love. I've lived here for a long time. I'm married to someone from here, and मुझे यहाँ रहना बहुत पसंद है. I've learned the language, I've learned the culture, and so everything I'm saying here is a little bit comedic. And also because I have so many good friends here who don't ask me these questions. When I get asked these mostly by strangers, I just wanted to share my opinion and why it hits foreigners a different way. If you are getting ready to travel to India, be prepared to be asked these questions. अगर आप इंडिया से हो और आप कभी मतलब सोच रहे हो कि मैं थोड़ा सा पूछ लूँ ये सब बातें, तो ये सब चीज़ मत पूछना. For both sides, I want to help prepare foreigners who are traveling to India, and also Indians don't ask these questions because they can be kind of offensive. चलिए चाय लेके बैठो, हम शुरू करते हैं. So counting down from number 5. Ma'am, can you help me to get a visa or get me a job in America? देखो भैया, आप गलत जन पूछ रहे हो. I have never immigrated to the United States. I was born there. You're much better off asking another Indian who went through that process. मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहे हो? What do I know about immigrating to the United States? Now, if you want to know how to immigrate to India, how to get a visa to India, how to help other foreigners come to India, I'm your person. This is something I've done. I've helped like hundreds of other people also come travel in India, learn Hindi. So I am the person to ask. But US जाने के बारे में मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहे हो भाई? मैं क्या जानती हूँ? Second point on that is I understand in India that your whole network is really how you get things done. It's about asking other people for favors. It's about your social network being able to get you forward in life. And but it doesn't actually work that way in the US. I don't know anybody in the government that can like help me. And even if I did know somebody in the government, there are very strict laws against doing this kind of thing, like trying to get someone you know. You have to go through the process just like everybody else. I can't help. Third point on this is just because you follow someone on social media doesn't mean that you're actually deeply connected with them. Though I think there's a really toxic thing in all cultures, not just in India, of if you follow somebody on social media, you feel entitled to a relationship with them or time with them or something of that sort. So it seems kind of odd to me that why would you ask someone online to like do you such an intimate favor? Number 4, weird question I get asked in India. Ma'am, will you please arrange my marriage with your sister? Do you have a sister? Is she married? देखो भैया, मेरी बहन की शादी हो चुकी है, वो तो बात खत्म. But दूसरी चीज है, you think about how you treat your own sister. If somebody online just messaged you, can you arrange my marriage with your sister? Why would you even consider that to be something worth your time? तो लोग इतना सालों से सोचते बहन की शादी कैसे लगाएंगे, बेटी की शादी कैसे लगाएंगे, and then you expect somebody online just to be like, oh yeah, sure, let me set you up with my sister. थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए ना ये सब बातें के बारे में कि why would you expect that? Now, mostly I know that this is meant actually not literally, it's a lot of times meant as a compliment of, oh, you're married, you're such a nice lady, but you know, if there was someone just like you, that's who I'd want to marry. I get it. That's a nice thing. So any non-Indians who are listening to this, that's mostly what that question means. But there are some persistent individuals which will keep pestering you. Like, you know anyone, any foreigner who wants to get married to an Indian? It's like, even if I did know a foreigner, why would I recommend you? Like, I don't know you. You don't know me, even though you're connected with me on social media. So why do you think that my opinion, that I would be able to find you someone good, right? Just because you see my pictures on social media or my videos, it doesn't mean that हम लोग एक दूसरे को जानते. We don't actually know each other at all. And so इसके बारे में थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए. लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं like, oh yeah, I just, you know, casually बोलते हैं. Like people just say this so casually. Oh, I just want to get, you know, married with a foreigner. But actually, I'm telling you, you have no idea what it's like getting married to a foreigner. Please do not take this lightly. You will destroy your life. There are so many things that go into a cross-cultural marriage. Do not take this lightly. ये खेल नहीं है, तुम्हारी जिंदगी है. कोई ऑनलाइन सेलिब्रिटी से मत पूछना ये सब चीज़ों के बारे में. It's completely crazy. Don't gamble with your life. Number 3. Are your kids half Indian or half American? Are your kids more Indian? Are they more American? Now, to be fair, American people do ask me this as well, not just Indians. And I think anyone that's in a cross-cultural relationship probably gets asked these kind of questions about their children, but it's super weird. It's very tokenizing. It's asking someone to define themselves and in a super awkward way. Sometimes someone might feel more Indian if they're in that context. They might if they're around certain people, they might express themselves in a more Indian way. If they're around Americans, they might feel like they blend in more there. It's totally depend on your context. And it's a super odd question to ask somebody. There's also some conversations happening around this. One guy I really like on social media is named Jessa. He is a Punjabi British guy living in the UK. And his whole concept is I'm both fully British, fully Indian. I'm not half-half. I am a fully Indian person. I express myself in Indian ways. I can speak Punjabi, all of these things, but I'm also fully British. I belong here. I grew up here. So that's, I think, the way that many multicultural, multi-ethnic people might feel about themselves is I don't have to be exactly 50% this and 50% that, but I can express myself in whatever way I feel at the time. And it's a richer, more deep experience to have multiple cultures that you're growing up in, not this
do you feel more American or do you feel more Indian?
That's like a little bit of a weird question. And I would say instead of asking that question, you could say, what are some things that you appreciate about India and what are some things you appreciate about America? लोग ऐसे पूछते हैं कि तुमको इंडिया पसंद है या अमेरिका पसंद है? It creates this binary thing. Do you like India or do you like America? It's like, well, I like both, and it almost feels like it's setting you up for failure because if you say I like India more, then people are like, oh, well, you're denying your part of your roots, your culture. That's super weird. And if you say, oh, I like America more, then you're like, well, why did you even come to my country? And why are you living in India? It's a lose-lose question. So I think it's just better not to ask that question at all. Number 2, weird question I get asked in India as a foreigner. Ma'am, आपका native village कहाँ है? आपका गाँव कहाँ है? Like, in Bihar, I understand a lot of people originally come from the village and now they're living somewhere else or in a larger city. But it's hard to explain that not everybody has village roots. So, for me to explain to someone like, oh, mera native gaon Chicago hai. Like, it's when you ask someone if they're from Delhi, they're like, okay, well, where are you originally from? Right? Some people are actually originally from Delhi. Some people are from Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, whatever. It's super weird to assume that everyone is automatically from the village somewhere. And especially if you're asking a foreigner, I just thought that was hilarious. So people have this conception that, a lot of people are from a small town or so. If you're in a rural area, people think that everyone else is like them somehow. And last, final question that I find to be weird that foreigners get asked all the time, especially if you have any kind of social media presence, or even if you don't, if you just are a person living in India and happen to have your own private page, is, ma'am, can I call you? Calling, the video calling. Even I know guys that get called constantly. And it's just super weird to assume. So I think we need to talk about this just overall of the concept of celebrity culture in India and the concept of being obsessed with foreigners. I've talked about this on a lot of other of my podcasts that it is not okay to be overly obsessed with foreigners. अपने संस्कृति पर थोड़ा गर्व होना चाहिए ना, थोड़ा सा मतलब ऐसे मत बन के रहो like you're desperate to talk to a foreigner. That's weird. Just be cool, be yourself, be not trying to obsess about other people and have this inferiority complex. This is like I always talk about, post-colonial hangover, like leftover. You should be proud to be an Indian. You don't have to chase after foreigners to try to be their friend and try to, like I mentioned in point number 1, foreigners cannot help you get a visa to their country. थोड़ी sponsor करेगा तुमको. So you can't assume that being friends with a foreigner, you're going to be able to get something out of them. Like it doesn't make you look cool. It makes you look very pathetic, actually. So मतलब थोड़ा सा प्यार से बोल रही हूँ, but अपने भाभी जैसे, but don't be lame like that. Like, be confident in who you are as an Indian and be confident in having a fantastic culture. विदेशों के पीछे मत पड़े रहो. Second point I want to make on this is the celebrity culture in India is super toxic. So if you feel like being connected to a celebrity is going to help you get somewhere, it's not like the old days where if you know somebody powerful, they can help you out. Like, these online celebrities and stuff, I don't consider myself a big celebrity or anything, but people treat me like that. It's super weird. And if you're connected to some celebrity, it's not like they're going to help you. ऐसे नहीं है कि ये लोग कुछ करेंगे तुम्हारे लिए. ऐसे कुछ भी नहीं है. People have millions of followers. It's a shallow connection. Let's be honest about what it is. It's a one-way relationship. And I think people expect that it's some two-way relationship. Like, I love my subscribers, my followers, and I do have a lot of conversations with people about different topics. So it's not like, I don't care about anybody, but when you have, thousands of followers, it's not like you can talk to every single person. And most of the conversations which are happening on social media are very shallow. It's like you're sending, like if I open my box right now, it will be like thousands of people just sending me reels. Nobody looks at that, yaar. Nobody, कोई देखता ही नहीं. Reel भेजते रहो, कोई देखेगा नहीं. You're wasting your time. So if you want to have a meaningful connection with a influencer or celebrity or something, then you should actually ask them the relevant question, not, hi, how are you, where you are from, whatever, this, that. Like, that's going to get ignored 100% of the time. So it seems weird to me that people expect that there's going to be some kind of connection or two-way relationship with somebody online they don't even know. So just trying to call and feeling entitled to somebody's time is like, let's say if your sister, देखो तुम्हारी बहन ऐसे इन्फ्लुएंसर बन जाती, तो लोग फोन करेंगे, तो क्या होगा? मतलब वो उठाएगी क्या? किसी का रैंडम बंदे का फोन उठा लेगी? कभी नहीं. तो फिर मुझसे क्यों फोन कर रहे हो बार-बार? ये क्या बात है? You have to think about these things, right? Like, you don't want people harassing your family members, so why would you harass someone else? थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगा के करना चाहिए ना ये सब बातें. I think overall the celebrity culture in India has gotten really out of control, and that's why so many people are trying to become an influencer, become the online thing, because there's some weird sense of power behind it. And I personally think that most people whom I know are just normal people, and people build this kind of persona around influencers or online celebrities, and actually you're setting yourself up for emotional disappointment. So I think it's fine to follow people. If you chat with somebody and say, oh, it really, you comment and they like your comment, fine, but don't become obsessed about it. ये लोग तुम्हारे लिए कुछ करेंगे नहीं, कर नहीं सकते हैं. So don't try to call random celebrities. कभी उठाते ही नहीं ये लोग. Don't obsess about celebrities and all this stuff. So that's just my point. One thing that I've gotten weird comments because of being a foreigner, and because I also have online presence on my Instagram and whatnot. So anyhow, again, I hope all of these things are taken with a grain of salt. And मैं प्यार से बोल रही हूँ, थोड़ा सा मतलब जो लोग सुनना नहीं चाहते मैं तो बोल चुकी हूँ, but I think that it's important to discuss these things, and I think it's important to realize what people want to talk about and what they don't want to talk about. And like I said, if you are a foreigner coming to India if you're from out of India coming to travel, you might want to be prepared to have these questions asked of you and know that you don't have to answer these questions if you feel uncomfortable. So again, one last thing. Of course, if you also need other advice about coming to India as someone who's traveling to India, I have my newest course. It's the Travel Hindi you will actually use. All my courses are online courses, pre-recorded, video courses you can download and do them at your own pace. So I hope this has been helpful, enlightening, and I know that comments में लोग एकदम गुस्सा करेंगे कि मैम हमारे culture, हमारे मजाक मत बनाना है. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but I am just trying to point out how we can all grow and improve and be a little more sensitive to each other, both foreigners who are coming to India and foreigners who from outside. How can we be sensitive and realize that these are some of the reasons behind why you might be getting asked these questions. तो सबको चलिए नमस्ते, अच्छा लगा आप लोग ने पूरा यहाँ तक सुन लिए. सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और सुनते रहिए इनविजिबल इंडिया पॉडकास्ट. और देखिए इसका फुल ऑडियो वर्जन भी है मेरे पॉडकास्ट पे, invisibleindiapodcast.com.